Welcome to Fusion Tonight. It's high time that we get to know this guy. So our guest tonight is Gary Nelson, and we're going to talk to him about the commitment it takes to be a pastor's spouse. Now scream and yell and jump up and down for our host, Mr. John Cooper.
Woo! Welcome to Fusion Tonight. I'm your host, John Cooper. How are we doing tonight? Good. It's good to see everybody here. Temperature outside's a little higher. Still windy, but I'll take it. It's good to see so many people here. Gary, you're a big draw, man. They heard you were going to share some stuff, and they're like, I got to hear what Gary has to say. I'm excited to talk to Gary tonight. We've done this a couple of different times where we bring on a pastor's spouse and get to know him, get to ask him what it's like, and I'm excited to have you on the show and see what Gary's willing to share and see what Pastor Karen will let him share. Because I don't know if you notice this with husbands, but whenever husbands are put on the spot and wives are present, do you ever notice how we always look at them as if we're seeking advice from our lawyer? Can I answer that? No, I can't answer that. At the advice of my, what? You said I couldn't answer the question. What does it matter if they know you're the reason I can't answer the question? No one has ever called you that. I simply don't want to answer the question, and she has nothing to do with it. So I'm excited to talk to Gary. I'm excited to get the show going. It's going to be a fun night. So let's get started. All right, we now go right into what we here at Fusion like to call our open mic time. And this is not an opportunity for budding stand-up comedians to tell horrible jokes for 5 minutes. This is your chance to share joys and concerns and to lift up whatever is on your heart and your mind so that we can pray about it, we can be about it, and we can bring the Lord into this space with us tonight. So the floor is open. Does anyone have anything that they would like to lift up tonight in in prayer?
I would like to thank everyone for praying for my son and daughter-in-law and my daughter. They're all over COVID. But we have a neighbor moving in, and she's dealing with a husband that has dementia, and they're trying to find a place for where he can be. So she has dealt with it for 2.5 years. She's having trouble. She's moving in, so we'll have to there.
All right, so prayers for family members getting over COVID. That's always a blessing. It's scary when you don't know how your body's going to react to it. So blessings for family members getting over COVID, and now prayers for a family member dealing with dementia and the struggles with that, and finding proper care and hoping for the best time with them possible, and for more good days than bad. So we'll be lifting them up. Yes.
I'd like to lift my grandma in prayer. She has COVID for the second time.
Okay, so we're lifting a grandmother in prayer, battling COVID for the second time. Hopefully she'll recover and be well with as limited side effects after that. Let's see.
On my third semester last week, my grandmother did pass her assessment and moved today into her facility. And I'll be going to Clinton this weekend to celebrate her 90th birthday and the other grandma's 90th birthday. They're 1 day apart in age. So. All good.
Yeah, prayers for keeping a hold of independence and being well enough to do so, and prayers for more birthdays and celebrating lives that get to continue creating memories. Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to give thanks to women that helped with the funeral today. The bereavement team, volunteers that come, it's such a wonderful ministry for families that have lost loved ones.
Absolutely. So we want to lift up women that volunteer with our programs to be part of bereavement teams and help with families dealing with grief and coming in and providing support. We're so used to churches sending pastors everywhere, and when we can, as a church, build up other members and other folks that can go in and do that and really create that community and help people through hard times is wonderful ministry. And I'm happy to hear that it sounds like the family was appreciative, and I'm happy to hear that we have people stepping up to provide that. So awesome. Nancy.
Our family is very thankful for the same, and can honestly tell you that Harry said that was the best sandwich he's ever had.
So they'll help you with your grief, and they make delicious food, and so awesome. Love to hear that. Unless I'm missing somebody in the lights, let us go ahead and bow our heads now and be in a time of prayer. Gracious and Holy Father, we're so blessed to once again be able to gather and worship with one another in this space. It's always wonderful to get the opportunity to worship in person and to be face to face with so many different people that we love and care about, and get to talk to them and share with them all of the things going in our lives, and know that just as you support us, they are there to support us as well, as we always come together with the one thing that unites us, that we have in common, and that is our dear love for your Son, Jesus Christ. Lord, we ask that you hear all of the prayers that we've lifted up tonight, prayers for those battling COVID, for those that we're happy to know are on the other side of it, prayers for those dealing with things like dementia and all of the challenges that can present a family as they watch someone they care about slip further into a disease that we want so desperately to not exist and to not be something we have to encounter. Prayers for those as they age and celebrate birthdays, that they can continue to enjoy their independence and continue to feel as though they have control over their lives, and that they can continue to be their best selves and live their best lives, and be free to do the things that they make them happy and can bring joy to others. Lord, we just ask that you continue to walk side by side with us as we go through the days. We know not what our future holds, but we know it is you who holds our future. Let us find peace in that fact. Let us find comfort in that fact. And let us move forward together with that fact, praying the prayer that your Son taught us, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. All right, we now go into our time of offering. We don't pass the plate here. We have 2 giving jars at each doorway, so you can use offering time as a chance to stand up, stretch out, give as your heart calls you to give. And while you do that, there will be a video playing behind me telling you all about this month's wonderful mission that your money will be going towards.
When families go through tough times, the little ones suffer too. We Care is a ministry partnership between First United Methodist Church of Cedar Falls and Love Inc. of the Cedar Valley. We Care provides families in need with necessary supplies to care for their babies and toddlers. Things like diapers, onesies, bottles, blankets, baby wash, and baby lotion. Love Inc.'s intake process identifies families in need and refers them to our We Care ministry. Our We Care volunteers maintain inventory, fill orders, and meet client families as they pick up their supplies. You can help by becoming a We Care volunteer, or by shopping for baby supplies and bringing them to the church, or by providing a cash contribution, which will be used to fill gaps in the We Care inventory. Send a check to the church office or give online through our secure giving portal at aboutfirst.com/giving. We Care is our way of showing we care about the most vulnerable little ones. Learn more about We Care in your February About First newsletter. We Care is our February mission of the month.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main event. You could sort of look at him as First United Methodist Church's own second gentleman. Please give it up for the spouse of our associate pastor Karen, Gary Nelson.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Good to see ya. Yeah, it's funny. I just heard about on the news they're talking about the first gentleman. Second gentleman. And I'm thinking, what the heck, second gentleman? What does that even mean? So, I'm second gentleman.
You're the second gentleman.
Yeah.
You are the second gentleman, but you are the first time I've had a pastor's husband on the couch.
Well, there you go.
Normally it's been pastors' wives, and you're the first husband, so you got to set the bar high, Gary.
Well, the bar is pretty high, but I just reached a lifetime goal I didn't even know I had when I walked up here. Is that when I was young and I got old enough to stay up past 10:30, I used to watch Johnny Carson. I love that show, and this looks just like Johnny Carson. Yeah.
It is not Johnny Carson, though.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You aged yourself a bit.
Yeah. I am pretty old, but not too old to eat tater tot casserole. I love that stuff. We had that tonight.
You can tell a lot about a person's generation by what nighttime talk show host they bring up.
Yeah, I was really disappointed when Jay Leno took over, but he was pretty good too. But he wasn't Johnny Carson.
He was not Johnny Carson. Well, Gary, I'm excited to have you on. Originally, we were going to have a different guest, and we got a hold of you in the 11th hour and said,
like
hey,
last
Gary.
night, 11 o'clock or something.
Yeah. Gary, you want to sit on the couch and talk about your marriage in front of a bunch of people? How do you feel about that?
Well, it's okay.
And Gary goes,
I'm not very exciting.
Yeah. Well, my favorite was his response was, I have no idea what that means, but yes, I will do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do it.
I was a little nervous this morning, though, John, because I had to go to the northeast. But it was an endodontist because I had to have a root canal this morning. Oh my gosh, I hadn't had one of those in years and years, and I kind of forgot how involved it is. And when they start sticking stuff up your tooth and oh my gosh, but it feels great. But I was worried because I got out of there, my lip hung down to about right here somewhere, and you can still see it there a little bit. So if you think he's got a funny lip, that's why.
See, if I would have known they were gonna do work on your teeth this morning, I'd have been like, give him the drugs.
Yeah.
It'll really open him up.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Get him as loopy as you can.
I'm feeling good. My tooth doesn't hurt. Whew. It's great. Life's good so far.
Good. Well, I'm glad your teeth are good. I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about your marriage. Just put your feet to the fire and let's figure out what it's all about.
Well,
so,
everybody'd fall asleep in about 2 minutes if we talk about that, because I'm not very exciting. Yeah.
We're going to start out with softballs before we get into the heavy stuff. And don't get nervous, all right?
Okay.
I've interviewed a lot of pastor spouses.
I haven't been nervous for a long time. I've been retired for almost 12 years. I'm not nervous about anything. This is great.
Good. We have a very low divorce rate as a result of this forum. So we're going to be all right. So let's start with the easy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you and Karen been married, or a couple, if you want to go further?
Oh my gosh, you said that was easy. Well, we got married in 1978, so what's that? That's a long time. 98, 2008, 18, that's 30, what?
Is that 40?
34 years? Is that right?
77. Well, I was born in 89, and I'm 32, so then you go back to 79, that's 42, and then so that's 44?
Whatever it is.
It seemed like 30.
Yeah, it seemed like 30, yeah.
So 44 years.
It hasn't been a while. Yeah.
44 years. The COVID years were long. You lost track. I don't blame you. We all
probably.
We all lost track of time.
Yeah.
So 44 years.
We've been married that long, and Karen didn't go. You probably heard the story before, but I'll tell you just real quick. She started going back to seminary when she was 40 years old, and I thought she was crazy to even want to do something different at that age, and that just seemed like so long ago. So, but she's been doing ministries since A couple years after that, probably 23, 22 years, something like that, right in that ballpark. You said I'd look at her, and I just did.
No,
But it's about that long, and Karen, as people have heard, was a spiritual, not spiritual, but a field outreach minister in the Methodist Church for 5 years. So I'll take 5 years off. That's about 18 years as my pastor.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been good. It's not as bad as you'd think it would be living with your pastor.
Yeah.
It's not even really that hard. Yeah. Yeah.
When she's like getting on you about doing church, like, you don't talk to other people in church
Yeah.
this way. I don't know where this is coming from.
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't get on me too much about much of anything, really. Yeah, I get to listen to the sermon occasionally, a couple times before it gets to the church, and that's kind of fun. But that doesn't always happen either.
Yeah.
Yeah, just once in a while. Yeah.
So, how did you guys meet? Everyone loves a good how did you meet story. How did you guys?
Well, you say that, and instantly the first thing I think about is how did we meet? I kind of first started seeing Karen. We went to the same high school in Monticello.
Okay.
I'd see her kind of at study hall.
Panthers, right?
Yeah, Monticello
Yeah.
Panthers. How do you know that?
I went to Starmont High School. We wrestled against
Oh my
Monticello.
gosh! Yeah, well, I didn't wrestle. I played basketball.
I was a wrestler, and so we had to wrestle Monticello
Yeah,
all
only
through
the
high
weird
school.
people wrestled. They were kind of crazy.
I had a much nicer body back then, and I
Yeah.
liked showing up. I was like, hey, tights
I
is the
shouldn't
way
say
to
that
go.
because one of my best friends was a wrestler, and I was kind of making fun of him. He only weighed like nothing, 125 pounds or something. He says, I was kind of making fun of him. He said, we should just wrestle sometime. I said, oh, yeah, okay, fine. Oh, my gosh.
He probably whooped you, didn't he?
Oh, he whooped me bad. He was being nice to me, not pinning me. I think he wanted me to just keep struggling. I never had such a hard time breathing in my life.
Yeah.
I got to get to, after a few minutes, it was tough. So I had new respect for wrestling after I had to actually do it with someone that knew how to make you hurt. So,
Damn right. There you go.
yeah. So anyway, I met Karen actually in kind of a study hall. We had a study hall in the theater, the auditorium, and she's kind of nice, and I just kind of started hanging around a little bit, and actually Karen, she said to me one time that, our youth group is going to go sledding this weekend if you want to go. I said sure. So. Then it came time to, go meet them at wherever they were meeting, and I drove by in my car, actually my parents' car, but drove by there with my sled and everything in the car, and I got scared and I just left and went home. God, is that lame or what? And then a few weeks later, we had a kind of a banquet thing. They call it M Club, which is it's kind of like, as you go through school, you get points for being a good student, which I didn't get very many points, but I got some. And then being an athlete, I got a lot of points for that. And I got enough to go to this banquet. And Karen was a year younger than me, but she got to go as a junior, and I was a senior. She must have been smarter than me. I'm not sure what that meant. But so I was setting up for this thing, helping set up, and I put her name tag beside my name tag at a table. And I called her and said, hey, we're sitting at the same table. Maybe, can I come pick you up? And that was just like the stupidest. Asking her for a date is so lame, but anyway, I picked her up. That was actually a kind of, if you call that a date, we went to the M Club banquet first. So that's how I really met her. That's a long answer for a short question, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I'm glad she gave you a second chance after you.
I think she gave me 3 or 4 chances. Yeah. And finally, I got tired of running, and finally said, okay, yeah, I'll hang around. So
Gary, you need to man up and take me out. What's going on?
Well, I've heard before that I got lucky, I married up, and I think it was true. Yeah. Most of the time.
I've never met a guy that didn't marry up.
Yeah, I know it.
You know what I mean?
We do our best, but it's not usually that good.
Usually if somebody picks us, we're happy.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Take it. Yeah.
I got picked.
Good might not happen again. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So you met back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You've been married 44, not 34 years. And it sounds like almost half of that, she's been a pastor. So when she first said, I'm going to seminary and I'm going to be a pastor,
Right.
was religion already a big part of your lives, or was that something new that
Actually,
you were
it
gonna...
was. Karen's more involved than me, but I kind of hung around and helped do things. We did a lot of youth stuff, and did that for years and years. Went on trips and everything. That was fun. So, yeah, we'd been involved in the church for a long time. Yeah.
So you just kind of jumped right in, like,
Just
hey,
kind of
let's...
slid right into it. Yeah, it's been a good thing. I like it. I like as I get older, you start seeing how important church is and relationships and opportunities to do things that maybe somebody needs something or just do something just because it needs to be done. You know what I'm talking about. There's so many people here that do the same thing. And you go down, there's people, making coffee on Sunday or cooking tonight or people are doing things you don't even know they're doing them. They just find it and they just do it. And I enjoy that kind of stuff. So it makes you feel good. And it's like you said in your prayer, I can't remember your words, but you said something about God knows your plan or has a plan for you, has your future, I think you said.
Yeah,
like that.
we don't know what our future holds,
Yeah.
but we know who holds our future.
Right. But yeah, those kinds of things are revealed a little bit, and I think especially in a church environment, you get to see some of those things that God has in store for you that you didn't know for sure you were going to do. Sometimes you get that little inkling of something that you think you should do, and maybe you don't act on it, and you just kind of blow it away, and maybe it comes back later. But I think I'm trying to learn as I go that when those feelings come, you should really act on them because there's a reason. You're not just thinking of it yourself. And God's trying to say, will you just wake up and do this like you're supposed to? So.
It's amazing how God and our wives can sound very similar in that regard. Will you just do this?
Right.
You look really comfortable, and I would like you to be less comfortable.
God can talk to you without a voice, and your spouse can talk to you with a really nice, strong voice sometimes. Yeah.
I know, that's right. Most of the time, I don't know what it's like to be married to a pastor. My wife knows what it's like to be married to somebody that volunteers a lot. Mm-hmm. And as nice as it is and rewarding as it can be, sometimes it can be hard to share your spouse with a church when, hey, we had plans. What do you mean we can't go out to dinner? What do you mean you got to go, go to the hospital for a visit?
Right.
Have there been times over her ministry where you've maybe struggled to share her a bit?
I don't think so, really. It's I've never considered it to be a hard thing when Karen had to go somewhere. I mean, she has, meetings or, she'd come to church for a meeting or has a Zoom meeting. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I didn't know what a Zoom meeting was. But those seem to pop up all the time now, and she's really good at it. And I just think when she's got a meeting, I just have a chance to play with the dog more and throw balls. I just got to tell you, John, I've been waiting my whole life to get a dog. I've got a wire fox terrier now that loves to fetch. I've never had a dog. I throw something and the dog just looks like, what, are you going to go get that now or what? Oh, you throw it over there. My dog just thinks that's the best thing ever if I throw a ball to go get it and bring it back. So I don't know why I started talking about that. Dog is important. Dog is God spelled backwards. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. So there is a correlation there, but to answer your question, I don't, resentment's way too strong a word, but I don't feel any resentment at sharing time. I mean, Karen's doing really important things when she goes to do something, and so that's time probably better spent than sitting and doing nothing with me and watching TV or something. Yeah.
So in other words, if your spouse is a pastor, get a dog.
Get a dog.
I think that's all I learned.
Get a backwards guide, yeah.
Get a dog.
Yeah.
All right.
Dogs are good. Yeah.
Do you feel like, so you said you guys did youth groups and things like that before she was a pastor. Did you feel like your volunteer work saw an uptick once she was a pastor? Do you feel like you were doing more than you were prior to that, or?
That's a really good question. I don't know that I'm doing any more. I'm doing different things now because I don't do youth stuff now. There aren't too many youth programs that want to have a 65-year-old guy involved in it. It's like, who's going to come to that? It's the old folks home.
Boomer.
Yeah. But so I don't do youth stuff anymore, but I do a lot of other things in the church that, just silly little things like, just last week, I did the communion stuff. I really like doing that. Somebody's got to fill up all those little cups. It takes forever to squeeze that stuff, about a couple hundred times or whatever, and get the bread all ready and clean it up when it's done. But that's just stuff, it's like everybody does. It's just kind of a service thing, and it's fun to do those kinds of things and look for an opportunity to help out when you can. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, good. I feel like you're an easy interview because you just kind of go with the flow, because you talk to some and there can be tension because you guys have kids too. How many kids
We
do you
do
have?
have kids, and I can't hardly call them kids because they are getting to the point where they're almost going to be taking care of me for too long, I think. So, but they are kids. You know, our youngest is 34 years old, and our oldest is 40, I think, or somewhere real close to there. But yeah, what was the question? What did you say?
Well, I wanted to ask about kids because a lot of times with pastors, they can have young kids
Oh,
while they're
yeah.
going through ministry.
Right.
And it might not be taxing on the spouse, but it can be really taxing on the kids. But it sounds like your kids
Well,
might have
that's an
been.
excellent point. I know that's an issue with some, most pastors, start when they get out of college. They go a couple more years and become a pastor, and their kids are, their oldest one is 4 or something. It's like, so the spouse is home taking care of them while they're doing things. And it's like that with everybody's job. But it seems like, church stuff can get to be a little bit much every once in a while. I mean, it can be, different things, weddings and funerals and all kinds of things. And those are all really important, and pastors have got to be there for that. That's what they do. So, but it could be hard on a family. But our family is just me and the dog. Yeah, so it's not too hard. I'm really easy to entertain. I can just do nothing.
I'm gathering that as we.
Yeah. You don't even know, John. I'm trying to not talk too much. I can just let it loose, and I can go for an hour and a half, and you don't even have to ask a question. Because I'm just excited to have somebody to talk to.
Yeah. When I like talking to you because we really haven't had a chance to sit down and chat a lot.
You know that we talked ahead of this much. That's the same. That's the opposite of a lot. That's 0. We didn't talk anything. So, I said I'm just going to ask some questions and we'll just talk. I said, okay, there we go.
It's funny because Cindy, during prayer time is praying for a grandmother who wants to stay in assisted living and independence, and you seem like the guy that's like, I'm ready for the nursing home. I'm going to have so many friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to have so many people to talk to.
I'm planning on going to assisted living
Scrabble
first.
Sundays.
Yeah.
Like you seem built for that environment.
Well, I think it's going to be good. Karen and I have talked about that before. We don't, we want to be the kind of people that are happy no matter what your situation is in life, and you don't have control over your situation. It can change so fast. It's kind of important to try to see happiness no matter what you're doing, and that's not always easy. I mean, I'm not going to say that it will be, but you want to try your best to be happy and try to do something for somebody other than yourself. I mean, that's, I think we're all basically kind of self-centered, and you got to really make an effort to do something that benefits someone else and doesn't benefit me at all. So, yeah.
So one final question for you, and I feel like this is probably going to be, all the questions for you have felt super easy. What would you say for you has been the most rewarding part of being a pastor's spouse?
Well, God, you got such good questions. That I think just the opportunity to learn what life is about and enjoy the kind of the neat things that happen. Like when I was sitting there and you just said, okay, it's time for prayer requests. And sometimes we think, oh no, here, prayer, I got to sit here and I got to listen to this. But I've totally changed. You say that and it makes me feel good instantly that we are going to stand here, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about a prayer request, whether it be a happy thing or a sad thing, a hard thing or an easy thing, but to just notice that there's people that want to do stuff like that. So just to notice the godly type of things, the moments that happen in your life, and that's one of them. And God is there all the time. You'll see little things, get opportunities to do things, and God will give you an opportunity to do something that's a good thing for somebody else and for yourself and for your family and your friends or whatever. Where it hasn't been that many years ago that I didn't really even, think about that stuff very much. And if you call it being a pastor's, what was the nice name it had at the beginning?
Second gentleman.
Second gentleman. Being a pastor's second gentleman I've learned as things.
Well, if she was the lead pastor, you'd be the first gentleman.
Okay, so I'm the second. Oh, I didn't catch that. That's
Yeah,
what it is. Okay,
yeah.
so I'm the second gentleman. Yeah.
So,
But being a second gentleman, I've had more opportunities to learn what's important in life. And Karen doesn't make me learn that stuff. She doesn't make me do anything. But even silly, stupid little things, I don't call them stupid, they're good, but we listen to like Our Daily Bread every morning. We make breakfast and sit in a couple of chairs and listen to Our Daily Bread. You know, it's just a morning devotional thing. Don't have to read it. It talks to you. I mean, that's my kind of reading. I just sit there and listen to
Listen
Our
to
Daily
the
Bread.
radio.
But that mean, 20 years ago, there's no way I wanted to listen to Our Daily Bread in the morning. I had too many other things to do. Now I actually look forward to that. And I drink coffee now. I didn't used to drink coffee.
Well, it's because you're a Methodist.
Well, that's
right?
probably true. Yeah.
Methodist
Yeah.
and coffee.
But just, I don't know if that answered your question or not. That just got me
It
talking.
did.
Yeah.
No, it absolutely
You
answered
bet.
my question.
Yeah.
And, I think the wonderful thing when I get to talk to the spouse of a pastor
Mm-hmm.
is not that it's like you're trying to catch them or a gotcha moment, but you really get to see, when you see it in their spouse that they're living out the lessons that a pastor teaches on a Sunday morning, it gives you a peek behind the curtain that this isn't just a Sunday morning gig for them. This is
Right.
how they live, and the people in their life live by the words that they share with us. And if I've learned anything in what has been the longest conversation you and I have ever had, it's
Absolutely.
what she preaches on Sunday morning is the way that you're living your life, the way that you reflect and think about finding joy in whatever situation you're in, controlling what you can control, looking for ways to help, looking for ways to support, looking for ways to find God in just the little details
Right.
and the parts of worship that some of us take for granted. It tells me that you're a tremendous human being. And it tells me
Go that far, but
and it tells me that Pastor Karen is a tremendous pastor, because the lessons she's teaching us that are rubbing off on us are being lived out in her household as well. And that just, I think when you go to a church, you want to know that about the people that are in charge, that they're living what they're preaching. And I love getting to see that is the case. She's living what she preaches, and you're a testament to that, and just the way that you
well, you're
carry
awfully
yourself.
kind. I don't know if it's all that good, but Karen's that good. But I'm trying to be closer to that good. Yeah.
But that's what it's all about when you go to church. It's not about
Right.
being perfect. It's about the aspiration of trying to be better,
Yeah.
and that's all.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for.
You bet.
So,
Yeah.
well, Gary, thank you so much for,
Thank
for
you,
being
John.
our
That's
guest.
awful nice.
And if you'll give me join me in a round of applause for
Yeah.
Gary Nelson.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation as much as I did, and I hope you were inspired as much as I did, and what it means to find God in just the little things in our day-to-day lives, and to find joy in service. Ultimately, that is what we come to church to do, is to not just consume church, but become a part of it, to have it become the fabric of who we are, and to make a pledge to our congregation and to God to be people of service, and to find ways to enjoy that and live that out. And so I hope that all of us can have some of Gary's laid back and style, and his optimism, and his aspiration to just find joy, and to just enjoy the moment we're in, and to just let it take us wherever it's going to go. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I hope you're inspired as much as I was. And I hope as you go through the week, you think about some of the things that Gary said. And I hope that you live that out. And whatever you do, as I always say, please, please, please be Christ for one another. Have a great week.